What's going on, guys?
Hello!
Welcome to another special Fired Up Friday Margarita edition. I'm not going to be in this video too much tonight. This is going to be the star of the show because she kills it in the kitchen, guys. So, what are we cooking tonight?
Okay, so I was just telling David that I actually do not have a name for it. It's Mexican. I guess you can call it tacos, but honestly, like in Mexico, anything that you put in a tortilla is a taco. Like there's no hard shell or soft, or you know, if you make some meat or chicken or whatever, you put it in a tortilla, I'm sorry, it's a taco. So I am gonna be cooking some beef. I did get the top sirloin steak, and I'm gonna flatten and make it a little bit thinner, and I'm gonna put some bacon and some Mexican chorizo or Mexican sausage. You can get this at Walmart. They're accessible. I don't know for you guys if you live in the UK or Australia. I don't know if you are able to get it, but hey, if you want to add sausage, just add it. And then I cooked some beans the other day, and I know David loves refried beans, so I'm gonna be making some refried beans, some of this meat with chorizo and bacon and the special sauce. Now, on my last video that I did at home, I show you guys this Mexican sauce. I bought this at Walmart again. I have a big one that my dad brings me, or whenever I go to Mexico I just bring a big one, and it's practically kind of like the Mexican soy sauce, so it's just gonna be kind of salty. I like to cut my meat, then I let it rest for a little bit with lemon pepper. That gives it a little flavor. So you will see, I will call it margarita tacos, and you'll see the final product. Okay, are you ready? Let's get to cooking. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, I got the top sirloin. And if you had a bad day or a long day, stressful day, we all have those days, this is a good therapy, and I'll tell you why. Because you'll get to use this tool. You're mad, just hit it hard and just release all the energy that you have, all that bad energy, release it into the steak to make it thinner, and that will help. Okay guys, so here is the steak, a little better. That way, your chunks of meat, they're not like super thick. You want not really small, but enough to combine it with the bacon and the chorizo. So surprisingly, I didn't know how to cook, and when I first got married, I cooked a lot of frozen nuggets and instant mashed potatoes, and with time I learned. So one of the tips that my mom taught me, and you may know that, I don't know, I didn't know for the longest, is like when you have the steak, the way you're gonna cut it, like you have to find the lines, and that's the way it should be cut. Okay, so I just cut it, like I said, you don't want big chunks. And let me tell you guys, I love when I have to tenderize the meat. I don't know, I feel powerful every time I hit it. And like I said, you had a bad day, this will help you feel better. I don't know, for some reason, all the energy that I spent hitting, after that, there's a big smile in my face. So, like I said, for this recipe, you're gonna need the steak. You just make it as thin as you can. No, I don't know, let's say this width. You need bacon, chorizo, salt, the sauce, Maggi. Yes guys, I have someone here that wants to be cooking alongside with me. She's probably waiting for something to be dropped. She's very attentive. Also, you need some onion that we're gonna cook with the meat. Remember, in the Mexican kitchen, onion and garlic. Now this time I'm not gonna add garlic to the meat. What else do you need? Chorizo. And if you want refried beans, like I said, I like to cook my own beans. Super easy. If you don't have time or whatever, just get you a can of whole beans, and that way, you know, you can smash them. Refried beans are my favorite. For some reason, my mom used to take me to these expensive restaurants, like where they have the best steak, and guess what I will order all the time? Like the waiter will come and he will take the order, everyone, and you know, like my mom will order filet or whatever, which is my favorite steak. But when it was my time to order, I will ask for refried beans, guys. I'm in love, and I think I ate them while I was pregnant, and I cook that very often at my house, and that is one of my kids' favorite meals too. So simple. So I always try to have beans. They don't like them whole so much. I mean, I like them once in a while, but refry. They are in love with the refried beans. There's so many things you can put it, you know, as a side dish. You can make some bean burritos. For breakfast in Mexico, we have egg with refried beans too. I'm telling you, beans are the Mexican caviar. So I'll have to agree with that. So I'm gonna get to cut some more. I'm gonna add the lemon pepper. Then I'm gonna show you how to refry my beans. You need lots and oil, so that way absorbs it. I'm still cutting the meat, but you may ask, how is it to cook off-grid? It has its challenges. I do get excited to come cook here just because I'm cooking with gas and a gas stove. But let me tell you guys, before, when I was prepping everything, I was moving some things, and oh my goodness. So I saw this spider. I don't know much about spiders, but it was big, and you know, they can look intimidating, but I know some spiders are not that bad, and they actually eat the bad spiders and eat mosquitoes. So I'm like, you know, I'm gonna let it leave. But then let me tell you, I got the scare of my life. Well, not really my life, but I got pretty scared, because then I moved something else, and guess what there was there? My heart just dropped. A baby tarantula. Like, it was like, I don't know, I want to think this size. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I yelled. I'm like, ah, there is a spider in there. There's a baby tarantula in there. Like, he was trying to get the other spider. Well, forget about that one. He took care of the baby tarantula. Oh my goodness, guys. Now I understand, you know, we're in the woods, and you know, it's their territory, but I don't want to get bit by one, or I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night and feel something. And yeah, that's why we need to take precautions. Other than that, I love it. The peace, like, there's not cars going on the highway, there's no neighbors, there's no people talking. And in my job, that's a lot. Like, you have to talk a lot, and you know, be in communication with people. So when I get to come here, just the sound of nature, I love it. Okay, so I finished with all this meat, and like I mentioned before, I'm gonna be putting, and like I said, you know, you just cut them in cubes, as little as you can get them, the better, just because it makes more. And let me tell you, when I cook this for my kids, you know, the tray of meat, I have to get 2 of them because they devour this. But of course, you know, there's 3 teenagers, so I should expect not less. I like to put a lot of this just because it brings, you know, the flavor, and it's not the salt that we're dealing here. So, you know, it's just pepper and lemon, and I like to have a lot of the lemon flavor. I love lemon. Hey, another fun fact. So I don't know if you know, like in Mexico, we only had the green, which here is the lime. So I've been saying lemon, but it's the lime. See, I get confused because the green In Mexico, we call it limon, which is lemon. And we normally don't use the yellow one, which we call it lime. In Mexico, well, here, it's totally opposite. Or, you know, whenever in a restaurant, I will ask for the wrong thing. And later on, I learned, and I'm still getting confused, believe me, I love lime. Like, I love to do homemade lemonade, but with the green one. Again, lime, limon for me. So I'm gonna start heating up the skillet. I'm gonna add some oil. So I'm gonna let it, it has to be like really hot for me to add the beans. But before I add the beans, I'm gonna add the chorizo. It is, you have to be careful because every time you're dealing with or grease, you know, it splashes all the time. So you do have to be kind of careful. Sometimes I do use some gloves, you know, the baking gloves I do, and like I'm moving the beans because you have to move them and move them and move them, and you know, at that time they're like super hot and they're splashing everywhere. So sometimes I do like to wear those gloves. Okay, so I'm gonna get that ready and I'll show you. You want to put it on medium. Don't wait too long. I don't like to wait too long to cook this. You do have to cook the chorizo or Mexican sausage before you add the beans. I like pork. There's beef as well. I'm not sure about turkey, but for sure beef and pork. I do feel like pork has the better flavor, but is whatever you like. And this is how you spell chorizo. So I can feel that it's getting hot. Don't wear white, because this will get in your clothes for sure. No. No. I know you cannot see me, but like I mentioned before, I did cook my beans, so that's what I'm gonna add in it. I have a visitor here that refuses to go. I think because she's not used to this good smell of food. I don't know. Huh. I know. You like the smell, huh? You stay with a good cook. You recognize a good cook. She's helping me. And Ryder, he's just going around chasing bugs, so that makes it even funner. Funner is not a word. So I don't know what this instrument is called. I just call it the smasher. I have one at home that my mom brought me from Mexico, and because like at that time I couldn't find any metal ones. I like the metal ones rather than the plastic ones, but I forgot it at home, so I went to Walmart before I came here, and thank goodness, man, Walmart is my lifesaver. And yes, David has mentioned it before, it is my second home. But I hate shopping, and yet I'm there pretty much every day. You do not want to add any salt. I add enough salt when I cook the beans, and the sausage has enough sodium, which there's no reason for you to add any more salt unless you like food to be salty. It's up to you. I mean, you can always try it and do it to your taste. Okay, so let me show you this Mexican caviar. My mama always always told me that you have to continuously move and move and move and move until they're completely refried. I don't know if the lighting that we have outside here allows you to see the color, but when you add the chorizo, it makes it a little bit red, but it does not contain any spicy. Now, for some of you, maybe a little bit heavy on the stomach, and like I said, you may get some beef, but it's not spicy. You can actually do eggs with it. I believe you can get those at the Mexican restaurant. Huevos con chorizo. And in Spanish, this is called frijoles con chorizo, which is, if I translate literally, is beans with Mexican sausage. Okay, I'm gonna lower the flame. I'm gonna lower the flame and I'm gonna start cooking the meat. The first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut the bacon, like I said, small chunks, and I'm gonna add it so it releases some grease. Then I'm gonna add the chorizo, another one. Then, you know, once that's cooked, which I'll show you, once that's cooked, I'm gonna add the meat. I'm gonna move the chorizo with the bacon on the side so it keeps releasing its juice, and then with that I'm gonna add the meat, and man, it's gonna be good. Okay, I just put a little bit of oil, and now I'm adding the pieces of bacon. That smell. I wish you were here so you can smell. Bacon makes everything so much better. Don't you agree? No offense for the ones that don't do bacon or pork, but man, for the ones that do, just add a little bit of bacon to life and everything will be much better. I want to show you the beans. They're done. They're almost done. Mama, when I was little, she would come home from work and, you know, she would try to cook dinner. In Mexico, it is the schedule of life. It is very different than the US. So, you know, schools are from 7:30 to 2. So everybody gets to work between 8 and 9. So you do have a big breakfast. You can have a big breakfast. Life is like slower, especially in my hometown. It's a big city. It's about 1 million people there, but it's still like a slow. Everybody just, you know, has breakfast with the co-worker, or I don't know. The pace life is very slow. Then by 2 o'clock, you know, you can leave work for about 2 hours, and then you have your meal. What we will call here in the US our dinner. So that is like our biggest meal. You know, that's where you get to cook this. Then for dinner, which is about 7, 8, you just eat something light, of course. When I go back home, there is not word such as light. I go and I eat like if it was dinner every time. For breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner, man, because you have tacos, like street tacos or hamburgers, or see, just thinking about it, my mouth waters. So let me show you the beans. See, I got all sidetracked. I was telling you, so when my mom would come home, she would try to cook dinner or, you know, lunch for the next day. So whenever, you know how kids are, as soon as they get out of school, they're starving. They don't think they will ever survive. So my mom will pick me up from school, and, you know, she will cook the night before. And I remember watching her cook the beans at night. And let me show you, I'm not gonna do it here, but she will lift the skillet and then flip it. And that's how you know when it moves like that, that's when you know they're done. So I have them at the lowest. I believe I'm gonna keep it about for 5 more minutes, then I'm gonna turn it off. And let's check our mixing. So by this time, the chorizo is already cooked. Let's add our meat. Okay, you want to add some small pieces of onion into it just to add some more flavor. They don't have to be cut perfectly. I mean, when you eat them, you won't even care the size of the onion. Okay, so I have the meat cooking. It really doesn't take that long just because of the sizes of the meat. I like to cook this a lot, very often, just because easy meal, easy peasy. Actually, I have cooked this for David before, and this time we're gonna make some tacos with it. But the first time I cooked this for David, another great idea is get you a baked potato. Cook your baked potato like you like it. Once the potato is out of the oven, what I do, you know, I get it out, cut it in the middle, and try to kind of like make it bigger. And I add my butter, and I add the meat on top of it, and some mozzarella cheese on it. And man, it is delicious. So if you have leftovers, hey, get you some potatoes, and there you go. You have a different meal, different taste with the same meat. I'm gonna add a little bit, just a little bit of salt. The sauce is called Maggi. So the Maggi sauce is very salty, so you don't wanna put a lot of salt because it's already gonna be salty because of the sauce. But let me tell you, it's not just like soy sauce. It does have a different flavor, and it brings a different flavor to your meat. I actually use this a lot. I use it with, you know, it doesn't have to be beef. I use it with pork, or it all depends, but it's very good to marinate. I'm gonna turn down the fire. Okay, for the last ingredient, you know, they said the last is the best. I don't know. In this case, a lime. Or like for me in Spanish, limon. See, it's green. Walmart has this huge one. Supposedly said they were seedless, but hey, I don't know. Everything has changed from the time I was growing up to now, so whatever. I'm gonna splash the juice on top of the meat, and it will be ready. Then the next step will be to heat up the tortillas, and I'll make some tacos, put the beans on the side, and it's a party. Okay, so I finished this. The video may seem longer, but I'm telling you, it's a really quick meal to make. Once you know the steps, it goes like really fast. I heat up some tortillas, and I put the meat on it, and I put the refried beans on the side. It's up to you. You can add them into your taco. Just eat the way you like to eat. I personally like to do it on the side, but I know David likes to put his refried beans in the meat.
All right, let's give it a shot, because man, it smells amazing. And she's been out here killing it while I've been in there editing a video for the main channel, Come On Homestead. Make sure you check that out. Let's give this a try, because I'm starving. And I'm definitely gonna put the beans inside the taco, because I'm a gringo. God, this smells good.
Did I pass the test?
She's a keeper.
Of course I did.
She's a keeper. Yeah, this is amazing. I mean, what more do you need? Beef, pork, beans, and tortilla. I mean, come on. That's a good meal. I don't care who you are. Come on.
Okay, so it is late. As you see, we started with daylight. It's dark now. I am hungry. I am ready to eat, and I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you try it. It's not a really hard recipe. I will be putting, you know, all the ingredients. Again, it doesn't really require a whole bunch of ingredients or steps, so I do encourage you to try it. If you want to replace some of the ingredients, go ahead. And again, it doesn't have a name, so margarita tacos, but not because it has alcohol. It's because of me. I made them.
Smells good, tastes good, gotta love it. Until we see each other again, guys, fire it up.
Bye.